My name is Larry Fuhro. I'm the Cranford Township historian. I'm also a high school history teacher here in Cranford, New Jersey. Cranford is a town of about 23,000 persons. It's a commuter town, a bedroom community, 17 miles southwest of New York City. This is the Crane-Phillips house. The house dates approximately to 1867, although there are parts of it that date to a much earlier time that were probably farm buildings brought across the street. The myth or the story is that when Josiah Crane, the founder of the town, when his son got married, that the honeymoon cottage was this house, and that it was composed of farm sheds, farm buildings that were taken apart, taken across the street, reassembled, and turned into a honeymoon cottage for Josiah and his bride. All right, today we're inside the Crane-Phillips house, which we just looked at outside, and there's a lot of hidden things in this house. And one of the great things that children in this town love about this house is this trapdoor and cistern. A cistern is a water containment area. Originally there was a ladder going down inside. We put the bars on there to keep you from falling in. There was a faucet in the wall for draining out water. They would keep cold things down here, apples, keep them crisp. And there is a story, which we cannot back up, it's a myth, that this was a hiding place for slaves on the Underground Railroad prior to the Civil War in the antebellum period. This is a reconstruction of a 1860s, 1870s, right up through the 1890s kitchen. This is an interesting piece that we have here. This is actually a toaster where you could put 4 slices of bread. They're held on wire racks, and you just put this right on top of your flame, and the flame heat goes up through the middle of this and radiates out through the holes and toasts your toast. But of course you would have to turn your toast over on a device like this. Over here, this would be what they would call the larder. Originally they would have had their food packages, their flour, their sugar, their staple food products up here on these shelves. Today we've put our bottle collection up there. In the kitchen of the Crane-Phillips house we have a 1905 manual washing machine. Usually a child in the family, once Mama put the wash inside of this, a child would be used to manually pull this arm back and forth. And as you can see from the wheel, it agitates and reverses and goes back and forth and agitates the wash. Once the wash is finished and it is to be dried, you put it through a mangle, which literally could mangle your fingers, but it pulls the wash through, takes it out the other side, and takes all the water out of the wash. This is the front parlor of the Crane-Phillips house, and the first thing that one notices, in fact some people are bowled over by it, is the wallpaper. It is a very spectacular wallpaper, it's almost garish. People have the idea that the Victorian age was a stodgy time. It really wasn't. It was a very colorful time, and this wallpaper is based on a wallpaper that we have actually found samples of underneath the plaster, and years and years of other wallpapers dating up through the 1920s and 1930s. This is Kate's room. It is named for Kate Crane, who visited the Crane-Phillips house often in the late 1860s, and she was a teenager. So this is basically a teenager's bedroom from the late 1860s period. The bed is a little bit earlier. It's a double bed. Very colorful handmade quilt on the bed. And we have some things that a person or a young person at that time would use, such as a washstand. Remember, there was no running water. You had to go downstairs to the kitchen, pump your water, heat it up on the stove, bring it up here, pour it into the basin, and wash up in the room. This is Kate's dresser, things the young girl would use. These are child size hair brushes, mirrors, her glasses, pictures of family and cabinet cards, painting that she did. This young lady is Kate, who I told you about earlier. This is an 1867, circa 1867 costume. It's mostly silk that she would have worn at that time. This is one of her dresses. That's approximately the size she was at the age of 15. People were a lot smaller. You can see that from the roofs and the ceilings in this house. This is her doll, a German-made doll with a bisque porcelain face, baby carriage, child's spinning wheel. Many children's toys were to teach them a skill. And over here we have her school slate. These are school slates. Paper was precious, so children did their lessons on slate. And this is a baby crib from about 1850 with an original old teddy bear. And this is Kate's sled, hand painted in the 1860s. What I would like to say about the function of a house like this is it is a living history museum. As a teacher, I understand and see on a daily basis that children have virtually no sense of place. They know nothing about their towns. They travel by car. Few of them ride bikes anymore, it seems. They really have no sense of where they live. And a place like this can give them that. And if you teach local history in your U.S. history, as I do, you can give them a sense of place because they'll learn what wonderful things happen in their own town. It gives them a sense of pride and a sense of place. This town, for instance, was a headquarters for General Washington and several other generals in the American Revolution. It was the center of the front lines that protected General Washington at Morristown. There were battles in here during the Revolution. There were Indians here. You can pretty much say this about any New Jersey town. We have a lot of Revolutionary War and early history in New Jersey, and it deserves to be preserved.